Let's start with Hare Krishna mantra. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Ram, 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram. Let's do some Radha jap. Radha, Shri Radha, Radha, Shri Radha, Radha, Shri Radha. We are reading Bhagavad Gita as it is by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, founder Acharya of International Society for Krishna Consciousness. We are in chapter 10, text 18. I think text 19. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "Yes, I will tell you of my splendorous manifestations, but only of those which are prominent, O Arjun, for my opulence is limitless." Let's read the purport. It is not possible to comprehend the greatness of Krishna and his opulences. The senses of the individual soul are limited and do not permit him to understand the totality of Krishna's affairs. Still, the devotees try to understand Krishna, but not on the principle that they will be able to understand Krishna fully at any specific time or in any state of life. Rather, the very topics of Krishna are so relishable that they appear to the devotees as nectar. Thus, the devotees enjoy them. In discussing Krishna's opulences and his diverse energies, the pure devotees take transcendental pleasure. Therefore, they want to hear and discuss them. Krishna knows that living entities do not understand the extent of his opulences. He therefore agrees to state only the principal manifestations of his different energies. The word pradhanyata, that is principle, is very important because we can understand only a few of the principles. For his features are unlimited. It is not possible to understand them all. And vibhuti, as used in this verse, refers to the opulences by which he controls the whole manifestation. In the Amara Kosha dictionary, it is stated that vibhuti indicates an exceptional opulence. The impersonalist or pantheist cannot understand the exceptional opulences of the Supreme Lord nor the manifestations of his divine energies. Both in the material world and in the spiritual world, his energies are distributed in every variety of manifestation. Now, Krishna is describing what can be directly perceived by the common man. Thus, part of his variegated energy is described in this way. Just want to see the meaning of pantheist. Theism is a doctrine which identifies God with the universe or regards the universe as a manifestation of God, the worship or tolerance of many gods. Yeah. Let's move to text 20. I am the super soul, O Arjun, seated in the hearts of all living entities. I am the beginning, the middle, and the end of all beings. Let's read the book. In this verse, Arjun is addressed as Gudakesha, which means one who has conquered the darkness of sleep. For those who are sleeping in the darkness of ignorance, it is not possible to understand how Supreme Personality of Godhead manifests himself in various ways in the material and spiritual worlds. Thus, this address by Krishna to Arjun is significant because Arjun is above such darkness. The personality of Godhead agrees to describe his various opulences. Krishna first informs Arjun that he is the soul of the entire cosmic manifestation by dint of his primary expansion. Before the material creation, the Supreme Lord, by his plenary expansion, accepts the Purusha incarnation, and from him everything begins. Therefore, he is Atma, the soul of the Mahat Tattva, the universal elements. So, he is even the soul of all five elements that he created, the gross elements. The total material energy is not the cause of the creation. Actually, the Mahavishnu enters into the Mahatattva, the total material energy. He is the soul. When Mahavishnu enters into the manifested universes, he again manifests himself as a super soul in each and every entity. We have experienced that the personal body of the living entity exists due to the presence of the spiritual spark. Without the existence of the spiritual spark, the body cannot develop. Similarly, the material manifestation cannot develop unless the Supreme Soul Krishna enters. As stated in the Subhala Upanishad, Prakriti Adi Sarva Bhutantar Yami Sarva Sheshi Cha Narayana. The Supreme Personality of Godhead is existing as the Super Soul in all manifested universes. If you notice in Treta Yuga and Dwapar Yuga, they used to worship Vishnu, and there were many temples of Vishnu, and in every home they used to worship Vishnu. But now we don't see many temples of Vishnu; we see temples of demigods. That's the change. So that's how fallen we are at the moment. Because at when we were at the phase where we were worshipping Vishnu, we were more close to, we were more, how do I say, we were more knowledgeable, and we were more evolved. So if you want to evolve, you will understand Vishnu. Once you understand Vishnu, you will evolve even more. So yes. The three Purusha avatars are described in Srimad Bhagavatam. Sorry. They are also described in the Satvata Tantra, Vishnu Stotriti, Rupani, Purusha Khyani, Atto Vidu. The Supreme Personality of Godhead manifests three features as Karano Dakshayayi Vishnu, Garbo Dakshayayi Vishnu, and Shiro Dakshayayi Vishnu in this material manifestation. The Mahavishnu or Karano Dakshayayi Vishnu is described in the Brahma Samhita 5.47. Yah Karanar Karanarnav Jale Bhajati Sma Yog Nidram. The Supreme Lord, Krishna, the cause of all causes, lies down in the cosmic ocean as Mahavishnu. Therefore, the Supreme Personality of Godhead is the beginning of this universe, the maintainer of the universal manifestations, and the end of all energy. Because he could create the energy, he could even destroy the energy and take it back. Text 21. Of the Adityas, I am Vishnu. Of lights, I am the radiant sun. Of the Maruts, I am Marichi. And among the stars, I am the moon. Let's read the purport. There are 12 Adityas, of which Krishna is the principal. Among all the luminaries shining in the sky, the sun is the chief. And in the Brahma Samhita, the sun is accepted as the glowing eye of the Supreme Lord. There are 50 varieties of wind blowing in space, and of these winds, the controlling deity Marichi represents Krishna. Among the stars, the moon is the most prominent at night, and thus the moon represents Krishna. It appears from this verse that the moon is one of the stars. Therefore, the stars that twinkle in the sky also reflect the light of the sun. The theory that there are many suns within the universe is not accepted by Vedic literature. The sun is one, and as by the reflection of the sun the moon illuminates, so also do the stars. Since Bhagavad Gita indicates herein that the moon is one of the stars, the twinkling stars are not suns but are similar to the moon. Let's move to text 22. Of the Vedas, I am the Samved. Of the demigods, I am Indra, the king of heaven. Of the senses, I am the mind. And in the living beings, I am the living force that is consciousness. Let's read the purport. The difference between matter and spirit is that matter has no consciousness like the living entity. Therefore, this consciousness is supreme and eternal. Consciousness cannot be produced by a combination of matter. Yes. Let's move to text 23. Of all the Rudras, I am the Lord Shiv. Of the Yakshas and Rakshasas, I am the Lord of wealth, Kuber. Of the Vasus, I am the fire, Agni. And of the mountains, I am Meru. Let's read the purport. There are 11 Rudras, of whom Shankar, Lord Shiv, is predominant. He is the incarnation of the Supreme Lord in charge of the mode of ignorance in the universe. The leader of the Yakshas and the Rakshasas is Kuber, the master treasurer of the demigods, and he is the representation of the Supreme Lord. Meru is a mountain famed for its rich natural resources. Let's move to text 24. O priests, O Arjun, know me to be the chief, Brahmaspati. Of generals, I am Kartikeya, and of bodies of water, I am the ocean. Let's read the book. Indra is the chief demigod of the heavenly planets and is known as the king of the heavens. The planet on which he reigns is called Indralok. Brahaspati is Indra's priest, and since Indra is the chief of all kings, Brahaspati is the chief of all priests. And as Indra is the chief of all kings, similarly Skand or Kartikeya, the son of Parvati and Lord Shiv, is the chief of all military commanders. And of all the bodies of water, the ocean is the greatest. These representations of Krishna only gives hints of his greatness. Let's move to text 25. Of the great sages, I am Bhrigu. Of vibrations, I am the transcendental Om. Of sacrifices, I am the chanting of the holy names, Japa. And of immovable things, I am the Himalayas. Let's read the purport. Brahma, the first living creature within the universe, created several suns for the propagation of various kinds of species. Among these suns, Raghu is the most powerful sage. Of all the transcendental vibrations, Om or Omkar represents Krishna. Of all sacrifices, the chanting of Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, is the purest representation of Krishna. Sometimes animal sacrifices are recommended, but in the sacrifice of Hare Krishna, there is no question of violence. It is the simplest and the purest. Whatever is sublime in the worlds is a representation of Krishna. Therefore, the Himalayas, the greatest mountains in the world, also represent him. The mountain named Meru was mentioned in the previous verse, but Meru is sometimes movable, whereas the Himalayas are never movable. Thus, the Himalayas are greater than Meru. Let's move to text 26. Of all trees, I am the banyan tree, and of the sages among the demigods, I am Narad. Of the Gandharvas, I am Chitraratha, and among the perfected beings, I am the sage Kapil. Let's read the purport. The banyan tree, Ashwatha, is one of the highest and the most beautiful trees, and people in India often worship it as one of their daily morning rituals. Amongst the demigods, they also worship Narad, who is considered the greatest devotee in the universe. Thus, he is the representation of Krishna as a devotee. The Gandharva planet is filled with entities who sing beautifully, and among them, the best singer is Chitraratha. Amongst the perfect living entities, Kapil, the son of Devahuti, is a representative of Krishna. He is considered an incarnation of Krishna, and his philosophy is mentioned in the Srimad Bhagavatam. Later on, another Kapil becomes famous, but his philosophy was atheistic. Thus, there is a gulf of difference between them. Yes. Let's move to text 27. Of horses, know me to be Uchai Shrava, produced during the churning of the ocean for nectar. Of lordly elephants, I am Airavat, and among men, I am the monarch. Let's read the purport. The devotee demigods and the demons Asurs once took part in the churning the sea. From this churning, nectar and poison were produced, and Lord Shiv drank the poison. From the nectar were produced many entities, of which there was a horse named Uchaira Shrava. Another animal produced from the nectar was an elephant named Airavat. Because these two animals are produced from nectar, they have special significance and they are representative of Krishna. Amongst the human beings, the king is the representative of Krishna because Krishna is the maintainer of the universe. And the kings who are appointed on account of their godly qualifications are maintainers of their kingdoms. Kings like Maharaj Yudhishthir, Maharaj Parikshit, and Lord Ram were all highly righteous kings who always thought of the citizens' welfare. In Vedic literature, the king is considered to be the representative of God. In this age, however, with the corruption of the principles of religion, monarchy decayed and is now finally abolished. It is to be understood that in the past, however, people were more happy under righteous king. Yeah. Let's move to text 28. Of weapons, I am the thunderbolt. Among cows, I am the surbi. Of causes for procreation, I am Kandarpa. And god of love and of the serpents, I am Vasuki. Let's read the purport. The thunderbolt, indeed a mighty weapon, represents Krishna's power. In Krishna Lok, in the spiritual sky, there are cows which can be milked at any time, and they give as much milk as one likes. Of course, such cows do not exist in this material world, but there is a mention of them in Krishna Lok. The Lord keeps many such cows which are called Surbi. It is stated that the Lord is engaged in herding the Surbi cows. Kandarpa is the sex desire for presenting good sons. Therefore, Kandarpa is the representative of Krishna. Sometimes sex is engaged in only for sense gratification. Such sex does not represent Krishna, but sex for the generation of good children is called Kandarpa and represents Krishna. So, under Srimad Bhagavata, there is a proper calculation of the astrological positions and with your kundli and your husband's kundli. You can actually plan the sex for generation of good sons or daughters. And yes, this is one kind of, how do I say, science that is only in Vedic literature. So, yeah, that's something. Uh, let's move to text 29. Of the many hooded Nagas, I am Ananta, and among the aquatics, I am the demigod Varun. Of departed ancestors, I am Aryama, and among the dispensers of law, I am Yam, the lord of death. Let's read the purport. Among the many hooded Nag serpents, Ananta is the greatest, as is the demigod Varun from the aquatics. They both represent Krishna. There is also a planet of Pitas, that is, ancestors, presided over by Aryama, who represents Krishna. Okay. There are many living entities who give punishment to the miscreants, and among them Yam is the chief. Yam is situated in a planet near this earthly planet. After that, those who are very sinful are taken there, and Yam arranges different kinds of punishments for them. Let's move to text 30. Among the Daitya demons, I am the devoted Prahlad. Among subduers, I am Time. Among beasts, I am the lion. And among birds, I am Garud. Let's read the purport. Diti and Aditi are two sisters. The sons of Aditi are called Adityas, and the sons of Diti are called Daityas. All the Adityas are devotees of the Lord, and all the Daityas are atheistic. Although Prahlad was born in the family of Daityas, he was great devotee from his childhood. Because of his devotional service and godly nature, he is considered to be a representative of Krishna. There are many subduing principles, but time wears down all things in the material universe, and so represents Krishna. Of the many animals, the lion is the most powerful and ferocious, and of the million varieties of birds, Garud, the bearer of Lord Vishnu, is the greatest. Yes. Let's end here with Hare Krishna Maha Mantra. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Let's do some Radha jap. Radha, Shri Radha, Radha, Shri Radha, Radha, Shri Radha. Yeah.